You're welcome to this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. I'm Oto Abaseko. Today we're looking at 5 key global trends that are affecting the globe in terms of the social, political, and economic space. First, we look at Ebola. Ever since this deadly virus hit West Africa, claiming over 2,000 lives now and 4,000 cases were recorded, it has been a catastrophe, according to the World Health Organization. International community were looked upon to support and create that environment of assurance that these countries will not be left out in this scourge, and that we're beginning to see. Don't forget that Nigeria had this case, but due to federal government and public-private sector partnership activity, it has been contained and has become one that has been applauded by the international community. And so today we see the situation in West Africa, particularly Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, as one that has created a lot of concern for the international community. The United States of America recently, in his report and analysis, said a breakout could really affect the globe if it is not contained in Africa. And so President Barack Obama, who last week looked at it as a security threat, has sent orders for 3,000 troops to be sent to this region to curtail the situation in terms of security and logistics. Also, the U.S. has pledged to send materials and infrastructural provisions for the healthcare sector. President Barack Obama, several months ago in the US-Africa Summit, said part of the reasons why this pandemic has spread in these 3 countries is because of the overwhelming public healthcare system. Also, China has sent $32.5 million aid to support these countries that are affected. The Bill Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates, who have partnered through the foundation to support and create an environment for tackling health issues across the world, have supported this move with $50 million. Apart from this, Cuba, in their humanitarian effort, has sent 165 healthcare workers to support these countries, which will be described as a commendation, something remarkable, considering the fact that this scourge is becoming a serious threat in the globe. We hope that other countries in the globe will begin to support and send a lending hand. Like President Ellen Sirleaf Johnson said, we need support at this time. We need understanding because we're going through a trying moment. And we trust that this will be the case for these countries in this trying period. The World Bank in its report said that the 3 countries affected could lose $49 billion in GDP. That will totally affect the whole social system. But this week, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, will be meeting to raise $127 million to send as relief effort to these countries. And we hope that this will be, in a way, a containment measure to tackle this pandemic. Now to the number 2 issue, which is the Scottish referendum. Barely 72 hours ago, we had the Scottish referendum to decide if Scotland will want to stay with UK or gain independence. There were strong campaigns, there was strong awareness and mobilizations for this. By the end of the votes and polls, it went 55 to 45% in favor of the no votes, a victory for UK and United Britain. In his victory speech, the Prime Minister David Cameron described it as a moment of history in the United Kingdom and pledged to sustain reforms that will build UK. He also commended the Yes supporters for their coordinated efforts and determination to express their intentions, which he believed will create the new avenue for devolution of powers that will include Scotland alongside Wales, Ireland, and England. For Mr. Alex Salmond, the First Minister of Scotland, after conceding defeat, he had resigned his position. Also, this election showed increasing turnout in the history of UK since 1951. Over 85% people turned out to vote to make a decisive step for the future of Scotland. For Europe, it is a strong decision for the region, as Jose Manuel Barroso, the chairman of the European Commission, described it as a phenomenal moment in UK history. For Buckingham Palace, the royal family are relieved that Scotland is still part of UK. This should also go as a pointer to the Catalonian quest for independence from Spain, and we hope that the Spanish politicians will learn from the unity of purpose and intent from the UK politicians, not just Prime Minister David Cameron, but former Prime Minister Gordon Brown and even Mr. John Major were really involved in mobilizing to assure the Scottish people that they have a stake in the united UK. And now to number 3, This has been the interesting trend throughout the weekend. Alibaba, a leading e-commerce platform in China, came to the US for its IPO. At New York Stock Exchange, it was a trending stock and made a phenomenal historic raised offer of $21.8 billion. Jack Ma, the young CEO, who is now a multi-billionaire worth over $10 billion, has revolutionized the market trend to tech operations. This should now bring a new frontier from technology and how it's penetrating the markets and also offering services. With this feat by Alibaba, it surpasses Amazon, which has been the big player in the global e-commerce platform. And this, of course, would open a new frontier for other companies in the e-commerce sector that really have been trying to penetrate the borders. Next, we now go to the monetary policy. Across the globe this year, monetary policies have been going through various restructuring and adjustments, considering the fact that the global economy is experiencing a slowdown. From Japan to China to India, there have been various levels of reviews to ensure that the economy and the effects of what is happening across the globe doesn't impact adversely. China in the week has also adopted its QE to ensure that it maintains stability. Don't forget that the European Central Bank 2 weeks ago announced its intentions for quantitative easing. Last week, the Federal Reserve in its FOMC meeting announced that interest rates will remain low until November. The Central Bank Monetary Policy Committee meeting that ended on Friday last week agreed to retain the monetary policy rate at 12%, a tight monetary policy that may still delay the real sector participation by banks considering the interest rate level. But for now, it is very clear that central banks are trying to adjust to see how they can really engage, especially challenging situations like unemployment, which is increasing, and income inequality across the globe. It is expected that monetary policies will begin to focus on how to tackle these issues, as raised by IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde. And finally, we look at the United Nations General Assembly. The 69th UN General Assembly begins today in New York, a gathering of over 120 leaders across the world. It will be a forum for leaders to make case and their statements on various issues affecting the globe. A forum where various key leaders in the regions will be speaking on the various issues that affect social, political, and economic space. Key speakers in this summit will be President Barack Obama, which we believe will be making a statement on the ISIS operations, which has been grown in insurgency in Iraq and parts of Syria, creating a regional terror that may begin to spiral across the world. Also, issues that will be discussed include climate change and the issue of global education and policy and institutional frameworks. Other keynote speakers in this conference will be Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and President Hassan Rouhani of Iran. President Mahmoud Abbas will also be part of this summit and should also make some statement on the Palestine state, considering the Middle East discussions and peace process. In all, we expect a very engaging UN General Assembly where leaders will begin to look at increasing challenges of insurgency, the changing faces of the climate and the need for adjustments and control to ensure that the ozone layer is not overly depleted, and also concerted efforts to rebuild institutions and ensure that the global economy doesn't collapse. This form the 5 key global trends that are affecting the social, political, and economic space, and of course should be of great interest for anyone across the globe. And that will be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. You can join us on our website, www.webtvng.com, or our social media handles on Facebook and Twitter for further updates. Till next edition, thank you for watching and do have a lovely day.